Hello, everybody. Thank you. I'd like to say a big hello to New York City. And for those that are streaming live tonight, thank you for attending here tonight. Really happy to be here with each of you on International Day of Persons with Disabilities. It's a great honor to be here. Our theme at Verizon for accessibility this year has been all in together. And so before we start the agenda, in the theme of all in together, I really want to just recognize each of you for really being the accessibility champions that each of you are, for actually being here tonight, as well as all the work that you all do on a daily basis. Pardon me with my notes here. All right, so let's move over to the agenda. So a little bit about the agenda. We're going to be short agenda. Hopefully we're going to spend a lot of time more on Q&A for each of you, but we're going to start off a little bit about who I am, the Verizon Accessibility Program, a little bit of history of how we started, where we're at today, and then obviously we're going to go into our technology and innovation lab that I'm really proud to present about here tonight. So the next slide here, we will go into, so who am I? I'm just a regular guy who got really lucky to do this job, to be honest with you. So as you heard, I've been with Verizon for the last 24 years. Little bit of a history behind it. I only plan to be here for 6 months. So when people look about where have you failed in your career, what's your biggest mistake? I can't say this was my biggest mistake, but I was only planning on being here for 6 months. But I've been really fortunate to have such a great career at Verizon that's been motivating, giving me a lot of different opportunities. And part of those opportunities have been leadership roles, with whether it's been within finance, mergers and acquisitions, IT, our digital PMO team, and then 9 years ago, had the privilege of being asked to start up the accessibility program for Verizon. This role has really allowed me to not only build something from the ground up, but it actually helped evolve me to be a true disability advocate and champion, something I truly love. And a little personal story behind this is that when I started this 9 years ago, I was a person that did not have a disability. And then about 5 years ago, I was in a really bad car accident where now I actually have lost all the nerve feelings in my fingers and in my left leg from my knee down. So I have loved my job so much, I was like, I gotta be part of the community. So call me an overachiever or whatever you wanna call, but it's been an amazing ride. And I will also say, as part of my advocacy needs and wants, I'm also a proud board member of Disability Rights New Jersey for the last year or two. So yes, thank you. All right, we'll go next slide. All right, so Verizon accessibility journey, how did it start, where are we at, and how did it evolve? So as I've said, 9 years ago, I was asked to take this team. At the time it was 1 employee and pretty much 2 contractors. One of those contractors is here today, Shashil, who's a big reason for the success of this program here, and who's now actually an employee at Verizon. But we were asked to really kind of look at taking our homepage and making that accessible. That was where we started. That was the whole idea. And it's been really an amazing journey because we went from having just a homepage that we're focusing on to now we've expanded across the whole enterprise for Verizon. That includes our customers. That's, when I say customers, that means all of our customer-facing systems, websites, our mobile apps, our retail experience as you walk in, but also our employees. That was something that's only been around the last 4 or 5 years. We really dove into it. Was we got to take care of the employees too. It's one thing to worry about our customers, but you got to take care of the employees who are creating the innovative products that our customers are expecting. And so we really focus on looking at this real holistic view of how we were going to handle accessibility. Part of that, in terms of the program, was we had to start somewhere. And I guess, as many as you know who's in the accessibility field, there's no playbook, there's no blueprint, there's no roadmap, there's just, hey, go do it. And so I was really fortunate because as I was building this team, and a lot of these same people are here with me today, these are dedicated, passionate people. And we really built things from the ground up. We had to create a playbook. we created the processes, we created the procedures so we could be repeatable and we can make sure that everything we were doing was going to be inclusive across the board. And our scope continued to change as we went on. It wasn't just about compliance and making sure we were WCAG compliant or striving to be WCAG compliant, but it was also about how do we go beyond compliance. That's really a big thing for myself and the team and for Verizon. We talk about the continued investment and commitment to accessibility. And I think it's really a good way of explaining it is compliance is just table stakes for us. We're not perfect at it by any means, but we are always striving to do better. And it's a matter of here's WCAG and how do you take it and build even better. And we do believe that the better you make a product or service for people with disabilities, you are obviously making it better for everyone. And that's really the message that we're always trying to share with people inside Verizon and outside of Verizon. Some of the other things that we've been working on is also some of the societal programs and efforts that we have at Verizon. So I always talk about at Verizon, our accessibility program, we're just one team in the ecosystem. It takes a village. And I think most of you probably can recognize that, right? So it's not just the Office of Accessibility that I'm responsible for, but we work with a lot of teams like our strategic alliance partners, our corporate social responsibility team. You have our IT teams, you have design teams, you have our design system teams. There's just so many people. So when it comes to societal programs, we're always partnering with teams to say, what can we do more of? And for example, our corporate social responsibility team 2 years ago came out with a program called Forward for Good. It was an accelerator program, took 7 startup assistive tech companies, and we seeded them with some money, but more importantly, we provide them guidance and networking to help build out their products and services, because it was just the right thing to do. We've also have a lot of work with Getty Images. So if you've heard of the Disability Collection, Verizon was a proud sponsor of that as well. And some of the pictures you'll see in our lab tonight are from the Disability Collection. Last but not least, one of the things I love to talk about is we also have the Verizon Disability Advisory Board. And that is, again, when you think about nothing about us without us, we have brought in 10 individuals from 10 different disability advocacy groups and organizations to really help us on our journey. And it's something I'm really proud of because it shows Verizon's commitment to go outside and listen and ask questions and really get that help that we all need to really learn more about the problems we're solving for. As I previously mentioned, our theme this year has been All In Together. And the next couple slides, I'm going to really talk about Verizon and how Verizon and our accessibility program ties in together. One of the things I'm going to share next is Verizon's most current rally cry that we've had. Next slide. So this is something you may have seen. This is something that we're really proud of. We empower how people live, work, and play. This is, like I said, this is our rallying cry right now. And it's really important because if you think about Verizon, we are a lot of different things. We are the network. And as you can see up here, it's about the access to entertainment, access to communications. We have perks, we have different partnerships with different organizations and teams, our services. And then at the bottom here, you'll see everywhere and always. And that really kind of talks about Verizon and who we are, right? We're providing you a network, we're providing you the right devices, we're providing you the right mobile apps to do all these things, live, work, and play. And what does that really turn into when we look about accessibility? And we go on the next slide on that one. From an accessibility perspective, we provide accessible experiences and solutions that allow independence that everybody expects and deserves. Now let's tie that back to the previous slide. We talked about at Verizon, we are powering the network for everybody. And that network includes those with disabilities. We are empowering all people towards independence that they expect and deserve. And at Verizon, people live, work, and play. Accessibility is at the core of that. We are ensuring that the assistive tech that people want to bring are going to work with our products and services. They're going to work on our network. they're going to work with our overall platforms. Because again, we are innovating to ensure everybody has an accessible and inclusive experience. That's really at the core of what we're trying to accomplish each and every single day. Next slide, please. All right. One of the other things from a societal perspective that I'm really love talking about, and it's really near and dear to my heart. There are, as part of the Office of Accessibility at Verizon, there are two key events that we host every single year. The first event is our annual Global Accessibility Awareness Day celebration. I'm sure there's many of you that celebrate that as well within your organizations. At Verizon, we take this as an opportunity as part of our education and awareness pillar. So it's a really big event for us. It's usually about a 4-hour event each year. And again, the idea is just really promote accessibility. Share with people who maybe are not have been exposed to accessibility. What's it about? Why is it important? And why, at the end of the day, yes, it's a legal requirement that we do accessibility, but more importantly, it's the right thing to do. And that's what I love the most about working at Verizon and running this program, is that we have leadership in different teams across the enterprise that believe it is the right thing to do. The other event, and we've been doing this for the last 9 years, is our annual Accessibility Tech Expo and Summit. Primarily an internal event here at Verizon. Day one is a half-day event where we bring in different partners, assistive technology companies, consulting groups, advocacy groups that come in to our headquarters location, and we set up booths for them. And Verizon is a really big campus here over in New Jersey where we're at. And so the idea is we set it right outside the cafeteria. And why is that? We want the foot traffic. We want more people that are getting their lunch. They just got done with their lunch, walk through, be like, what's going on? And we're like, oh, let's talk about accessibility. And then we showcase the different assistive technology that people are utilizing. And the best experience that we get out of this is how many people walk up to us having no idea what accessibility is, but then they relate because of somebody in their family or one of their friends, and they start piecing it together. And that's what we're there. We're making those connections. It's really, really important. The next day is equally important. It's a full day event where we bring in leaders from pretty much every single major organization at Verizon to talk about how their team supported the accessibility program throughout the year. And selfishly, I'll tell you the reason why we do this. People want to hear from their leaders. People want to see their leaders. So when they see that their leader is at an accessibility summit, what is that? They want to learn why. So they either show up in person or they dial in and they watch it. And they hear how their leader and what their work, and they may not even realize it, how their work benefited our customers and employees with disabilities. And that is just the best way of connecting the dots to really share the message of why accessibility is just so important for everybody and everything that we're doing on a daily basis. Next slide. So we talked about GAD, and this year's GAD was really, really special for Verizon and for my team. We opened up our Accessibility Technology and Innovation Lab on GAD. And yes, it was planned that way. We were planning the lab. We were going through a lot of dry runs. We had it pretty much up and running January, but we weren't ready to really share it to the world and share it to everybody at Verizon. And we took a lot of time to plan for this because we wanted to do it right. Because this is not your typical lab that you would see at some high-tech company where, it's all that space-looking gadgets and, futuristic. We took a different approach, and I'll go into a little bit more about it. But it was really important that we got the ribbon cutting ceremony right. So we had all the right leaders across Verizon to be there, not only to be part of the ceremony, but when I say be part of it, we wanted them to talk about why this was important to Verizon, why it's important to our customers or our employees, and again, all of society in general. Overall, with our space, like I said, we're not the high-powered tech space that you've probably seen in a lot of different labs. We want to create a real safe and accommodating space that was really open to everybody at the end of the day. We want people to kind of come in, feel welcomed, feel like they can share. That's really, really important. The other thing is with this lab space is how we're utilizing it. Testing is obviously a really big piece of it, right? Running an accessibility team and running a compliance program. Obviously, we're testing, we're doing automated testing, we're doing manual testing, we're testing websites, mobile apps, we're testing devices. You also see we're testing our Fios set-top boxes. But we go one step further. It's about the experience testing as well. So at Verizon, for example, if you go out to our website, you'll see connected devices. Take an example, an Alexa device. We are testing that experience with our set-top box. We're testing that experience with, hey, Alexa, play music. Hey, Alexa, turn the lights on. Why is that important to understand those experiences? Because for people who don't have a disability, that's just everyday life. But we know that for people who do have disabilities, the simple thing of, Alexa, turn the lights, might be something they just can't do from a mobility perspective. So we want to understand those experiences. Then listening to our customers. And you'll hear this a lot from me. We want them to come in. We want customers to come in. We want employees to come in. We want pretty much anybody to come in. Don't really care who you are. If you want to come in, you're welcome. And the idea is that we want to listen to what is working well. Is it your device? Is it a website? Whatever it may be. What's working well, but also what's not working so well. What can be tweaked? What can help us understand your dilemma and that experience, and we can go beyond compliance? Because a lot of times, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen this, where somebody will say, hey, I'm good, I'm compliant from a WCAG perspective. That's great. And again, table stakes. I want the best possible inclusive experiences for everybody. And that's really diving into the experience of individuals with disabilities and how they are using the devices they want to use on our network. That also helps us learn. So again, we're listening. Again, we'll keep talking about nothing about us without us. I want to learn from people. People love coming into our lab and they want to hear me talk. But I get the best joy out of hearing people's stories. How they've taken a device that we didn't even think about how they're utilizing it. We're just going based on what we know the device to do. And they're like, it changed my life here. This one device was able to do this. This simple command on a device was able to give me the independence I was looking for. That is powerful. And I will listen to that story. I'm always inspired by those people who come in and spend their time. They don't have to share with myself and my team. Again, we talk about devices that we're testing and going through the experiences. Those devices, right? So think about any particular phone that you can find on our website. We're testing all those phones in one form or fashion. We're also looking at the different operating models that those phones are leveraging, right? Is it iOS? Is it Android? What version of it? We're looking at all those different things because there's different experiences with all those. Our digital platforms. So at Verizon, for example, we talk about our program, and this is really important. Verizon, we have 9 different home pages, okay? To me, those are really important because that's our front door. That's our digital front door to the world. And so we actually test our home pages, for example, every single morning. And people say, well, Fred, that's overkill. Why do you do that? And I go, is it really? If you are a small mom and pop shop, you're a big box retailer, guarantee that store manager, small, large, every morning they get to their shop an hour, maybe 2 hours beforehand. And what are they doing? They're making sure their carpet is vacuumed. They're making sure their windows are washed. They're making sure when you show up, you have the best experience walking in those front doors. And for us, our homepage is that front door. And so more importantly, things break overnight, right? Technology is flawed, right? Things break overnight, in some cases for no reason. Our goal is to test those home pages and make sure if there is a problem, we find it before you find it. It's very embarrassing if somebody else finds it before we find it. right? And I'm sure anybody can relate to that, no matter what aspect of life we're talking about, right? So we're always looking at those digital platforms, the home pages on a daily basis. We're looking at the mobile apps. Verizon, we have I want to say about 40 plus Verizon branded apps out there. And those are different touch points for our customers, our potential customers, and also our employees. So we're testing those all the time. And again, like we said about the experiences, again, not just so much about the compliance aspect of it, it's a matter of come into the lab, test the experience. Again, I will stress this time and time again, what's working well and what's not working so well. How can we do better? And we have a calling to do better, and we do. Last but not least about this lab at a high level is where is it located? So for those who are watching online, I'm going to tell you, it's not the most glamorous place in the world. It's not New York City. It is Freehold, New Jersey. And if you don't know where Freehold, New Jersey is, it's kind of in the middle of New Jersey. It's kind of in the middle of pretty much nowhere in New Jersey. It's not at the beach. It's not in the mountains. It's not by Newark where the airport is, but it's in Freehold. And I actually love this space a lot. And the reason why I do is we're next to a hospital. We're next to a mall. We're next to a lot of different places. And it's small, it's welcoming, and it's pretty much easy to get into. So we have built our Accessibility Technology and Innovation Lab in Freehold, New Jersey. Takes about an hour and 15 minutes. Shashil just drove in earlier to get there from where we're at here tonight. From the airport, it's about an hour. If it's Newark Airport, New York airports, Philadelphia, it's about an hour and 15 minutes as well. So we're not too far away. We're pretty convenient, but it's in Freehold, New Jersey. So just to be very clear, it's not New York City. It's not Basking Ridge, New Jersey. It's not Philadelphia. It is Freehold, New Jersey. And I encourage anybody to go look up Freehold, New Jersey. And a great tidbit that you'll hear, and this came from Vince. They were in our offices about 2 weeks ago. They were like, did you know Bruce Springsteen grew up in Freehold? And yes, I did know that. So if you want to know a little bit more about Freehold and Bruce Springsteen, come to our lab. We'll give you the whole tour of it all. All right, next slide, please. All right, so overall, let's talk about this experience of the lab. Now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of what the lab's all about. There's really 3 main sections to the lab. The lab, it's not some big, ultra big space, but it's a good size space. It's a comfortable space. So when you first walk into our lab, and I'll show some pictures in the next couple slides, we have what we call the home area. And what do I mean by that? Think about your own house. Think about your own living room. I'm sure most of you have a couch, TV, maybe a little entertainment center, set-top box, maybe you don't have cable, so maybe you have an Apple TV device, maybe you have an Xbox, maybe you have an Alexa device. Well, we have all those set up in the home section. And the idea is that we want you to come in and sit on our couch. We want you to turn on the Fios TV and show us how you are utilizing the Fios service. And if you don't have Fios service, we want to showcase it to you. Tell us what you like and compare it. But let's say you want to talk about Fios. All right, we have an Apple TV. Let's show me how you're using your Apple TV on our Fios network. We can do that. We're done with looking at TVs and set-top boxes. All right, pull out your phone. Show me how you're utilizing your phone. And what we do is we stream your phone up to our big TV. And again, because that's how you are most likely sitting in your home, on your couch, on a daily basis, flipping through Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever it may be. We want to understand how you're doing that. Again, we want to learn and listen from everybody. So a lot of it's repetitive, right? Some things we don't learn. We don't learn anything new. But a lot of times we're like, wow, that's really interesting. Give you a couple of different examples of what we've seen in the home section. We've had people who were using Aira because they couldn't figure something out. They couldn't see something. They've been using Be My Eyes. How's that working with the experience of what we're selling, what we're providing? Again, how do we take those things and pull it all together to talk about the overall experience for people with disabilities? And that's what we're trying to understand. Our next section gets more into the operational aspect of accessibility at Verizon. We call it the collaboration section. that collaboration section, nothing fancy. It's a really big conference room table. It's wood, nothing fancy. It's got about 10 chairs around it. And why do we have that? Well, part of our program, we're always looking at fixing defects. How do we remediate those defects? What's the problem with that defect? Like what's broken on that experience? And our team gets together. We also bring in developers, designers, front-end development, you name it, to come sit with us. And we will work real time in looking at the impact of that defect and different solutions to make sure that we go compliant with whatever that issue may be. The other great thing we do with that collaboration area is we're looking at new products and services. We have new initiatives at Verizon all the time. New things are launching. Holiday this year, you see a number of different products that are launching. What are those experiences? We're taking that same collaboration area and we're utilizing it for people to sit together and go through those experiences. Again, make sure we're compliant, but how do we go above and beyond? So again, it's the collaboration area. Now the collaboration area also includes a little bit more than just a table. There's 2 work benches, or desktops, I should say. One has a regular PC. It's an HP laptop. The other side of the room, same section of the collaboration area, is a Mac. Both of them are hooked up with, each of them have individual Braille displays. Again, we want to understand different assistive technologies. Braille displays are really important. On our team at Verizon, we're really fortunate. 50%, at a minimum 50%, if not more, of the team that does accessibility testing has one or more disabilities. We have a number of individuals on the team that are actually blind. So the Braille displays are really key to understanding that experience. We also have a Braille printer in our lab too. Again, not everybody has a Braille printer. Maybe it's only 10% that might use a Braille printer, but hey, why not bring it in? Let's understand those experiences. Whiteboards, we have 2 amazing big whiteboards. I love whiteboards. I'm always coloring and drawing and making funny pictures and trying to connect dots. Again, it's about collaboration. You're trying to build a safe space to not just fix things, but be innovative. And so that is our overall collaboration area in our lab. But last but not least, in some cases, it's one of the most important aspects of our lab. It's where we do all the education and awareness events. That's where we have a podium. And that's used for trainings. Primarily trainings for internal Verizon team members. Maybe they're not too familiar with accessibility. Maybe we're going to tailor our training for that development team. Maybe we're going to tailor our training for a retail team. Doesn't really matter. We will tailor our training for anybody who needs a training on accessibility. Because the more people understand the impacts accessibility has on the world, the more that we're going to build more innovative products that are going to really benefit everybody. So we do public speaking engagements from there. We do trainings from there. We do webinars from there, lectures. We do live demos as well from that perspective. It's really a main focus. And what you're seeing up here, something we didn't talk about when we talk about the Verizon program, these 3 focus areas are really the same 3 focus areas for our overall accessibility program. Our program is built on 3 main pillars: education awareness, compliance, and beyond compliance. And if you think about it, those 3 circles are pretty much tied to all those different things that we're focused on. So it's really important that we had a multi-purpose place that felt safe to people, but also we could do more than just one particular thing. One of the other things I failed to mention in terms of our collaboration area and some of these connected devices, we also have our own Verizon retail point of sale systems and our care systems in the lab. 2 different pieces of that. One, we have a production point of sale and care systems in there. So we want to test live of what's going on from a true assistive rep perspective. And we also have the lower environment on those tablets from a point of sale perspective. Because again, it's not about testing after a fact. It's also about shifting left and being part of these projects and initiatives from the beginning. And so we're bringing all these devices, we're bringing all these different things into this lab so we're able to test. And I'll be honest with you, there's times where somebody goes, hey, do you have this? And we're like, no, what is it? And I will tell you, anybody who's on my team will be like, I'm like, go get it. I don't care about the budget. Go find it. We're going to figure it out. We got to beg, borrow, steal. We're going to bring that piece of technology into our lab because it's important that we're looking at these experiences. All right, next slide, please. So here's a couple of different pictures of things I've already talked about, but I want to really kind of illustrate that for each of you here in the room as well as that's online. So from the top left, that is a picture from GAD of this year. That is our ribbon cutting ceremony. So yes, we went all out. We had balloons, we had the big scissors, and you have a number of leaders. You have our president of Verizon Global Services there. You had our SVP of diversity and talent, our ESG, our accommodations team. We had a number of different leaders. Again, really important that these leaders are there to support this program. And not just say they support it, but really show their commitment to the program. And each and every one of those people do. We talked about the podium and education awareness. Well, there you go. Nothing fancy. It's just a podium, little table, says accessibility. But it's powerful because at least we're there to be in front of people to talk about the importance of accessibility and why it's important. And again, train people where we need to on the different aspects of WCAG and other things like 255 and so on and so forth. Third picture going towards the right there, that's the couch. That's the little entertainment center. That is the home section. Again, like I said, nothing fancy. And that's been the beauty of it. We did not want to go over the top. We wanted it to feel like any individual living room. And that's what we did there. So it's a typical couch. You sit there. As you can see, you've got an Xbox up there. You've got a set-top box. You've got a router. These are all things that people will have in their own homes that for some people, it's just part of life every single day. They don't think about it. We are thinking about all those different connected devices that are on our network and how people are leveraging them for independence. Off to the corner here, a little more of a zoom in picture of it. That's just, again, a little tiny table, 2 chairs, something that you probably see at somebody else's house, conversation table. We got some VR up there. Now, we haven't done a lot of the VR testing, to be very transparent here, but we're really excited about the VR opportunities. We know VR AR is really taking off, and there is such a big benefit from an accessibility lens. And so that's one of the things that we're looking at. And one of the other things that we're looking at with that, not just from a testing perspective in terms of those experiences, but how do we bring in the right partners to build accessibility testing from a VR perspective, not testing, training from a VR perspective. We think there's something there for that. And again, anybody's got any feedback on that, we definitely want to hear more about it. But we do think that VR is going to be one of the ways to really make a more personal type of training experience for people. Down bottom left here, that is that picture and the picture all the way to the right here. That is our accessibility atrium. All right. So let me explain that a little bit. I love accessibility so much, and I want to just ram it down everybody's throat. So we kind of commandeered the atrium at the Freehold building. So now we call it the accessibility atrium. So now when you walk into our atrium at Verizon, there are these big signs that say Verizon accessibility. Not just there, but as you walk through the hallway down to the lab, it's just everything says accessibility. And then we went one step further. Let's put a big 75-inch TV in the middle of it, which is playing videos constantly of different accessibility speakers and advocates, some of our own videos of things that we've done in the past. So that one way or another, if you're walking through Freehold, you know accessibility is real. You know what we're doing, because if you didn't stop in the lab, you're gonna hear it, you're gonna see it, you're gonna pretty much breathe it one way or another, which is the great thing about it. Second to left picture on the bottom is the collaboration area. So again, nothing fancy, big table, team members working, whiteboards, tables. These are where the two different PC and Mac machines are and the Braille readers. Third picture from the left here is, again, another set of different assistive technologies and connected devices. You can see there's an Echo there, routers, wireless keyboards. These are our point of sale systems, both our lower environment one, also our production one. And then Our friends over at AFB were kind enough to send us some of the blind Barbies, which we love to share within the lab and try to make it all a little more personable. Again, make that feel like a safe space. But last but not least, I want to call out, because you'll see in different pictures here, this picture, for example, and this picture. Throughout the whole lab, there are pictures, and it's all about representation. So we have a number of pictures of people with disabilities throughout the whole lab. Some of those pictures are from the Getty Images from the Disability Collection, and some of those pictures are actually our own V-teamers with disabilities. So for example, you can't really see here in this picture, but that's a great example of, those are two individuals from Verizon that have disabilities, and they allowed us to take out their picture real time as they were actually working on something in the lab, and we were able to hang that up there. Really important. We want to really showcase that this isn't for show. This is a working lab, and it's really meant for people with disabilities and those experiences. All right, next slide. All right, so who is the lab open to? I kind of said it's really open to everybody, but really kind of narrow this down for everybody. Our customers, number one, we want the feedback from our customers. We want to learn from our customers. Our employees are such a big piece of our research and our testing validation of what we're looking at. Without our employees, we're really nothing either, right? And again, it's nothing about us without us. Assistive tech, startup companies, people who've been in the assistive tech world for a long time. I'll give you an example, TPGI, right? Matt Ader's a great guy we do a lot of work with when it comes to JAWS and different things from a screen reader perspective and lockers and stuff like that. But it's also the smaller companies, the startups. You want to come to our lab? You want to show us about your technology? Bring it in. We'll put you on our network, on our FIOS network, for example. We will bring real life people from our team with disabilities to play with your product. We'll give you real examples. We'll go one step further. I'll look at your website. Now, we're not here to judge your website, but if you want our opinion, we'll give it to you. Can't hold us accountable for it, but we'll definitely give you our opinion, right? Anybody who wants to come in, we want them to come in. So bring in the assistive tech companies. We want to work with everybody. And again, maybe your product doesn't fit into our portfolio of products, but the connections you'll make and what we will share with people might go a lot further for you than just, being part of it. Disability advocates. This has been a huge eye-opener for me when we were opening up this lab, and I wasn't really expecting the power of it. There are so many different organizations that have heard about our lab that wanted to come in. And they've been so impressed with the fact that we built this and that we're actually utilizing it to really get feedback from people and learn. And those advocacy groups come in, they watch, they're learning, we're hearing from them from what they're hearing from their constituents, and it's just been a really good partnership. So again, if you're an advocacy group and you're watching this tonight or you're here in this room, you want to come see the lab, you are more than welcome. We would love to host you. Want your feedback? And again, we're open to your feedback. If there's something you think we're doing right, let us know. If you think there's something we're doing wrong, listen. We can only get better from hearing from people, and that's what it's all about. Last but not least, in this whole who it's open to is designers, developers, the people that do the hard work, right? The ones who are actually building websites, who are building components, who are designing the pretty pictures that are on a website or on an app, right? Come on in. Come on in. We would love to share with you how we approach accessibility testing and what it looks like, that experience that you were developing, and how it shows up on our website and how it works with a screen reader or whatever different assistive technology you want to utilize. And again, why we have done this, and I will stress this time and time again, this is all part of Verizon's commitment and investment into accessibility, because at the end of the day, to make a more inclusive world, it really takes the technology, it takes people, and it takes processes to really go above and beyond and just get past that compliance piece to get into that beyond compliance mindset. I think there might be one more slide at this point. Could be wrong. Yes, it's just thank you. So, I will say this though, before we go into Q&A, I did want to just say a couple last words in general in terms of thanking you guys for your time here tonight. Number one, anybody who comes out to ever hear me talk, I always do appreciate it because you could be doing something else with your time. You could be with your family, you could be with your friends, you could be doing whatever it is. So do really appreciate the fact that you are here tonight or you are watching online to hear about Verizon and what we've been doing. Again, we want your feedback. And the last thing I would say is in my theme for Verizon's accessibility program for this year about All In Together, I do want to leave everybody with one quote that I usually really share with people. It's really my personal message I like to give to people. And it really kind of encompasses the lab, the program, and the people on my team, and then the people that we are serving. And that is, I ask everybody, I want everybody to dream bigger. I want you to dream the impossible. And then together, let's all make it possible together. Okay? So let's go into Q&A with that.
All right. Thanks, Fred. Appreciate the talk. We've got a handful of questions online, and we'll take some from the room. We'll just kind of mix and match as we go. So I'll start over here.
Hi. Thank you for the presentation. My name is Pavel. I have an open-ended question.
I'll give you an open-ended answer then.
That's cool. How does collaboration with various product teams go? Like what challenges you face when conversations happen between the accessibility function and the various product teams? If you find that something's not great, something needs to be improved, or like maybe you're developing a new product, like when do you get pulled in? Maybe some challenges, stories, etc.
Great loaded question. Let's start there. But I actually love it. So I'm going to peel back a lot of those. There's a lot of different pieces to your question, and they're all really good points. So when do we get involved? Ideally, and I would say majority of the time, we're lucky that there is a what we call the Verizon Stakeholder Forum. So when new projects or initiatives are being presented, they go through this forum. The great thing is we're a stakeholder. The Office of Accessibility is actually a stakeholder on that meeting. So as that project, that initiative is being reviewed and shared for the first time, we're able to assess and say, you know what, that's got a UI impact. We need to be involved. And if that's the case and that project or that initiative gets approved, I will actually have somebody from my team assigned to that project from day one. And that's really, really important if you're talking about a whole shift left mentality and you're looking at being proactive. And the reason why I say that is because let's start with a design perspective. A new project, what usually happens? There's a wireframe. Well, let us get involved with you in that wireframe on day one. So as you're creating that wireframe, we can kind of tweak in real time. Now you get to an actual design. Again, we're looking at the design with you. We're helping you tweak. We move over into, let's say, a user story. One of the things that we do to be proactive is for any particular project that we're involved with, we review every single user story that's in that project. So if there's 100 user stories, we're going to review 100 user stories. Now, maybe 80 of those user stories have an accessibility impact. And what we'll do at that point, we will add success criteria to that user story. And again, we're going to go through that life cycle, the development life cycle. So the idea is that by the time we launch that product, that project, that initiative, whatever you want to call it, we've cared for accessibility from day one. So either there is a zero, which is really, anybody knows, no matter what you launch, there's always some type of defect, whether it's an accessibility defect or a functional defect. There's some defect when you launch. But how do we minimize the number of defects? Number one. And then number two, how do we get commitment to get those fixed ASAP with those next releases after we launched? So that's one, how we get involved in that perspective. In terms of product owners and, selling, let's say selling accessibility, I think it's kind of where you're going. Some people want to buy in. So let's be very honest. I like to be very transparent and honest when it comes to accessibility. I'll answer that. When it comes to that, there's not, listen, 9 years doing this, I've yet to see this happen. I hope to God I never do see it, but nobody's going to turn to you and tell you they don't care about accessibility, right? You can't say it. They may want to, but they're not going to say it. And that's a great thing. And so, yes, I'll be honest, I leverage that because I know you're not going to say no. Right? Listen, my goal at the end of the day is to make sure we have accessible products for our customers and employees. Plain and simple. That's it. So I'm going to leverage that. In some cases, I have different talk tracks and different approaches. So again, if you're working with a team, so again, the importance of accessibility and education awareness perspective is any organization, there's always turnover. So you've got people who are really big advocates, they understand it, they bought in, they're in it, that person leaves. There's no knowledge share. New leader comes in, new developer comes in, new product owner comes in. Maybe they haven't been exposed to accessibility. Maybe they don't understand the culture of Verizon, they're new. Whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter. That's why education awareness, and we're always constantly talking about accessibility, is so important so people don't get blindsided by it. That's what we learned. When we started this program off 9 years ago, great example was we were testing the My Verizon app. It was brand new at the time, right? It was visionary. We're going to set this out to our customers. We started testing it, and we had all these defects. Sent them over to IT. Nothing was getting done week 1. Week 2, nothing got done. Week 3, nothing got done. Now, I was fortunate, I was part of the IT team previously. So I went to one of my buddies and I said, what are you guys doing? Like, why can't you just fix some of this stuff for me? You know what the response was? Fred, what is accessibility? So you got to take some ownership too. You can't just say accessibility is important. It's on each of us to really go out and teach people what it is and why it's important. So that, so hopefully that kind of answers part of that question. But yeah, you got to figure out the talk track. Some people will get it right away. Some people, they're just gonna be so fixed on a KPI, like I need to get X number of sales for the month. This is an impact that you got to kind of train people. They need to be led to the water in order to drink it. So does that answer your question, I think?
Thank you.
No, thank you. Great question.
We have a lot. I see a lot of hands up, and we got a lot online. So we're going to just try to blaze through. The first one here, I'm going to try to interpret what I think they meant. Does Verizon involve content when fixing defects?
Say that one more time.
Does Verizon involve content when fixing defects? I think what I'm interpreting that to mean is, do you treat content as an aspect of accessible delivery? And I'll actually marry another question along with that, which is someone noticed that, at least as far as the slide went, the lab is open to everyone except content designers. At least the slide didn't say that. It said designers, developers. How important is written language in your accessibility strategy? So I think those two questions are related. How do you treat content or how do you look at content when it comes to accessibility?
I think there's an easy way to answer that question. If it's on our digital platform, it matters. Whether we create it or it's a vendor partner. Plain and simple. It matters. Because at the end of the day, I think it's a really good example I can probably share with people. You have our Fios TV, our Fios channels. There's premium content out there. Take one of the big, I'm not going to say a name because it's going to sound like I'm picking on somebody, which there's no reason to, I'm not. Let's just say it's one of those big networks out there. And they have a TV show with closed captioning. Personally ran into this and it was actually an escalation that came up to me. And that person was watching a great TV show on this huge network, and their closed captioning was not connecting, which happens. It happens a lot, right? But it's based on that file that the content owner has. The point being is this: we could have easily said, "Not our problem. We showed you what was given to us." We did not do that. And the reason why is the customer doesn't care. They just want to enjoy that program, whatever that program is, cooking show, sci-fi show, whatever it is. So we literally tested it to say, oh yes, we can see in this episode, it was season 1, episode 5, the closed captioning was not matching up with the sound. And we went back to that content provider. We shared it with them. We gave them the exact examples. And guess what? They were really happy we went to them. They had no idea. So I share that piece of that, and I'm hoping it's answering that question. It's on our digital platform. It's on our network. We have to be accountable for it. even though we're not, it's my job to go work back with whoever it may be. Don't care. If it's on ours, we're going to take care of it.
Okay, I think I saw it. Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. Hi.
Hi.
Could you tell us perhaps a little more about the process and perhaps politics that it took to get the buy-in to create an official accessibility office? Was it grassroots bubble up? Was it a top-down directive or something else?
Great question. And I think I have different versions of that answer just from my different ebbs and flows throughout again, I've been here for 24 years at Verizon, so I get some things kind of mixed up sometimes. But I will say this, when it started, I don't think anybody 9 years ago had any expectation there would be an Office of Accessibility and we would be doing Global Accessibility Awareness Day. We would be doing a summit. We would be doing testing with FiOS, that we would be doing testing wherever, that we'd be looking at employee tools and employee experiences. That was never, I don't think, the big picture. And I will tell you, when I took over, when I was doing this, that wasn't even in my purview. I was just focused on something's broke, we've got to fix it. Because being a project manager previously and running the PMO and creating those processes, I look at things, what's repeatable, how do we do these things, learn from it. That was our focus. And it was, I would say part of it maybe was a lot of grassroots. We have a great ERG team at Verizon. It's called Advance. A lot of great feedback from them. So you get pulled in emotionally from people telling you their stories. And you just want to help. I don't know any human being that does not want to help somebody when you put it black and white to them and say, this is what I'm experiencing. And you're like, well, shit, I can fix that. So why not? So I do think a lot of it was grassroots. I also will say this. I've been very fortunate. I've had leadership. I've had a lot of different VPs in my tenure doing accessibility. Some people think that might be a negative, like, oh, they must not care about you. No, it's business. There's reorgs all the time. But it's been really, really beneficial to our team. And the reason why I say that is because I've had 12 different VPs with 12 different focus areas, and not any one of those 12 VPs ever thought about accessibility until my team was part of them. And guess what? They've all become our advocates. And they really pushed it. So that's another aspect of it. We're also really lucky. Our CEO, Hans, he is all about societal type of works and bridging the digital divide. So accessibility really is one of those tentacles into those efforts of his. So yes, we have that support. So again, we've been really fortunate. We have seen throughout time there's been rifts at Verizon for different reasons. We've been lucky. We weren't impacted. Our leaders always recognize the fact that we had a very important role to play and that we need to continue to grow. And we kind of got to that point again end of last year where we created a new version of the Office of Accessibility, where we brought every single piece of accessibility for the enterprise into our shop. Because there was a couple different areas that weren't in our purview, and our leadership team said, no, it needs to all be in one spot. We need to get the efficiencies of the best-in-class accessibility program. And I don't say that lightheartedly. We've been benchmarked. Again, we're not perfect, but we are definitely, when you look at our processes, our playbook, our approach to everything, we really are a best in class, and we're always trying to evolve and be better. So it's been a combination of leadership. It's been the one thing I can really say is probably the biggest factor of our success is the individuals on my team. These are the most dedicated, passionate people. And I'm sure if you're running an accessibility program, you can say the same thing about your own team. My team's still better. Sorry. But no, I mean, they are. They have, I mean, I've seen blood, sweat, and tears. And putting this lab together, for example, this didn't happen overnight. This did take a lot of time. We were planning and trying to build this right before COVID hit. And then COVID hit and it was like, well, okay. And then we're ready to go back into those planning stages and trying to figure out. And guess what? The building we're in got shut down. So now we had to find a new building to go work out of and find space for a lab. And throughout that journey, again, the importance of what accessibility is, what it means to Verizon, how it's part of our DNA, that's where you see your unified communications team saying, you need a Cisco TV and camera in that lab. You got a real estate team saying, you need better lighting in here. You need bigger space. That space isn't going to work. You need this. Oh, look, this is an ideal space because there's a handicapped bathroom 15 feet away from the lab. That's a mindset change that doesn't happen overnight. So again, there's not a real good answer I can give you. I can just tell you that we've been very fortunate, whether it's been the employees that work for me, the support of the different organizations, leadership, grassroots, you name it. It's all factored into the growth. And again, we've been really fortunate in 9 years, 1 employee, 2 contractors to where we're at today, where we are a very large organization where we have resources in the United States, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and India. So we're really doing a full follow the sun type of mentality.
I would love to continue this conversation for hours. There's so many great questions online. I know there's a ton of questions in here. For those online whose questions we didn't get to, I'm really sorry. Maybe we'll have a time to have you come back.
I have an idea for you.
Okay.
If this is okay.
Yeah.
If you want to figure out those questions and pull it together,
Yep.
let's do another half hour, 45-minute session. I can do it live out of the lab.
Great.
And you can kind of host it, and
Yeah.
we can do those questions then.
Cool. We can absolutely do that. Great. Thanks again, Fred.